Hello friends and greetings for the day. Welcome back to another tutorial on ISTQB Advanced Test Manager Certification. We are in chapter 3 and I have completed all the tutorials as of today, and now we will be moving into the sample questions which we can expect from the chapter 3. So let's get started. The very first thing to get started to understand is, of course, the pattern of the examination questions which you can expect in the final exam. And from here that we have certain number of distributions of the questions, but we do have two questions coming at K3 and K4 level. And K4 actually it is 2. So put together you have 6 questions covering all the topics which we have covered as a part of this tutorial. So 6 mandatory questions, in that 2 are at K4. 1 is at K3 and the remaining 3 are at K2. So you just need to make sure that the topics which are highlighted from the point of K4 and K3 will have a scenario based questions, and the scenario could be longer. It's just that we don't cover because the tutorial would go longer, or probably I can only cover one particular question for probably 20 minutes or so, and that would not add any value. So anyways, let's get started and look at quick questions from this chapter. So I have the very first question coming in to talk about from the reviews. That is, as a test manager, you are participating in a meeting with other members of the project management team. The agenda of the meeting is to discuss whether the project can begin acceptance testing based on the system test exit criteria. Now, the acceptance test entry criteria and other business considerations. So here we are just saying that whether the project can begin with the acceptance testing based on the system exit criteria, the acceptance test criteria, and the other business considerations. And we are just actually talking about the management review which is going to be conducted. Now, which of the following statement is true about this particular scenario? And that's what we are going to understand in more detail, that what exactly could be the possible answer by understanding this scenario here. So to begin with, of course, we are actually looking at the very first option. The meeting is a management review because the project management team is evaluating the situation and determining the next steps. Absolutely correct, because as you understood right from the scenario that the project management team is involved here. And number 2, that you are considering entry and exit criteria to determine the next steps, whether we can push to the next level or we still have to continue doing the system testing. That's absolutely correct, but still, let's give a look to the second and third and fourth option. B, the meeting is an audit because the project management team is checking compliance against the defined criteria by checking the evidence. No, not at all. It's not an audit, so you can very well eliminate it right there, because management is involved. And at the same time here we are evaluating whether to switch from a particular level to the next level, and that is not called as compliance measurement. C, the meeting is a management review because the project management team is checking to ensure that progress is being made on the project. Now, that's again sounds a little unprofessional, because while the statement in this sense is true, it misses the element of decision making, which is the most important criteria for a management review to be conducted. And of course, here that option does not consist of that. And coming to the option D, the meeting is an audit. Again, it's not an audit, so you can actually eliminate these options right away. But because the project management team is going to issue a pass or fail assessment against the criteria. Assessment does happen in audit, but of course it is not an audit. It is a management review, so that cannot be correct, because assessment does not happen with the management point of view or in management review. Well, considering very straightforward answer for this particular scenario given to you is right answer is as A, the meeting is a management review because the project management team is evaluating the situation and determining the next steps. Moving to the next question here, which is again a slight interesting scenario, which requires you to be very, very, very clever to respond to this. And again, you may have to get, may have conflicts to pick up the right answer here. Let's have an observation to the scenario. You are the test manager working on the Agile project development information apps. So number 1, that you're working on Agile. Due to the missing and incorrect functionality reported by the user, formal reviews of all user stories are being planned. The reviews are led by you, because being a test manager, you can be a review leader. The test manager, the main objective of the review is the agreement of all stakeholders on the user story format, granularity, completeness, and preciseness. So, of course, that's we have a conflict on the functional understanding of the user story. So, we are asking the stakeholders to come into picture for the review to get a common understanding of the user story here. The following persons play the role of reviewers, that is, chief developer and test analyst, product manager, and the domain expert, who is from the domain, of course. So these are the four people who are trying to be called as the reviewers here in this particular review. Now, during the kickoff meeting, the CD, that is chief developer, complains about being pulled off his real duty. That means he's saying that I'm not actually being informed here to be participating as a reviewer. Rather, he's been complaining that I've been pulled off my duty. Rather, I'm supposed to do a development work which is more important, or take care of my development team. But of course, he's saying that I cannot be contributing. By participating in the review, he's being pulled off from his real responsibilities. After the individual reviews, the following table depicts the number of defects found by each of the three reviewers. Now, of course, we have conducted the review, and this was the outcome from the review. What we have got, that is, like, there are three types of defects which we have identified: major, minor, and typo. CD has been observed to be contributing very less, whereas TA has really found good number of defects. PM also has contributed effectively from his concern, and developer, that is domain expert, has also equally contributed at the effort. But of course, test analyst has come with more details on this. So now you have to decide how to proceed with the review, where you observe that the CD, that is the chief developer, has not really contributed the way he could have contributed to the review comparative to the other people. So which of the following option should be chosen by the test manager to proceed ahead after having this outcome and the comment of the chief developer about his responsibilities being pulled off? So we have got four options here. I hope you got the clarity on the scenario. If not, please read it again and then try to look at the option. Option A, ask for a discussion between the test manager and the chief developer, moderated by a third person to get the chief developer involved. Now here, of course, I think this is the most ethical way to take the conversation ahead, because he complains about being pulled off his real duty, and in fact he has not contributed. So the only way to take it ahead is, of course, to talk to him on one-on-one, but of course being moderated by a third person, so that the person can take care of what kind of discussions are going on and actually review the discussion, what is going on between them. Because you always need to have a third person. If you just have two people one-on-one, probably you do not understand, because you are a test manager, and there's on the other side, he's also a chief developer, so probably things may go conflicting all the time. So you need a moderator to assist you to do that, and I think that seems to be the best thing to be conducted as per the corporate policies. B, postpone the review session and redefine the review with the objective of the CD. Now that sounds a little funny again, because all stakeholders must agree on the review objective, and this is not that just because one person wants it to be in a different direction, you can change the agenda or objective of the review. So that does not look after the outcome of a particular review based on this scenario. C, proceed timely with the review session with the role scribe assigned to the CD. That's more funnier than the previous option, that punishment does not help. We are looking forward to be collaborative and constructive to work together for the reason. And giving a role of scribe during the review to a chief developer is actually a kind of punishment or insult to the person. And of course, maybe you will have rather different consequences if you do that. So C is not a good idea. Never try to do that in your organization if you are the test manager. D, cancel the review. Write a review report or write a report to the upper management emphasizing the missing involvement of the CD. Now, that could sound again like, that can be done because, you may have tried to convince him and he says that I'm being pulled off my real duty. So that could be possible, but not. Why? Excuses don't help. Again, you don't have to report people and get punished from a senior management or let him be embarrassed in front of them. So that's not a protocol which you follow in the industry. It is more about how much you can handle. Don't forget that you're not talking about being an engineer these days. Here you're talking about being a manager, and team management skill is one of your asset. So being a manager, you try to handle a lot of things at your level, because even if you complain at the manager, upper level, upper management, then of course these people will come back to you that what kind of test manager are you, that you cannot coordinate with the chief developer, and you are coming or complaining about that person to the upper management, which is not a sound option. So that's where D is unrelevant compared to the option A. So the right answer here is A, which is saying that ask for a discussion between the test manager and the chief developer, moderated by a third person, to get the chief developer involved in the review so that he can contribute effectively. Well, that was a great interaction. We just have 2 questions to talk about from the scenario point of view. Should you have any other questions with you, feel free to drop them in comment box. I'm there to address your queries and answer them well. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, keep understanding the context. Thanks for watching the video, team, and happy learning.